Hello everybody and welcome back to Electric Mindset. Today's episode might not be what you expect, but I still think this project brings something to the table worth discussing. Let's see what I mean. The graphic settings here are actually pretty decent with a lot of quality options and a render distance setting. With that said, the look the game has gone for looks adorable without trying very hard. One of the first things I noticed was obviously the look of the menu and how cute the theme was. Once I got into the game though, I quickly ran into my first hint of an issue. The game begins with you playing as a father whale having a very on-the-nose conversation with your son, when it is suddenly harpooned and you can only respond with dark, matter-of-fact, or dramatic answers. This will set the tone for your entire experience. The story has you playing as one of the whaling ship crew members when, due to an odd radio signal and an even more suspicious smoke attack, you find yourself shipwrecked on an island run by animals. The gameplay has you introduced early on to a sick lion who needs some kind of medicine in order to recover. In order to help the lion, you have to gather ingredients from various places and animals around the island, which lets you kind of see everything. As you progress through the game, you get a sense that everything may not be as it seems though. After a few quests and about an hour of gameplay, you will find yourself presented with the truth of the island. I didn't experience any crashes in the game, which was great, and the world along with its inhabitants, like I said, looked adorable in design and it was executed really well. I feel like the look of the island and the animals often reminded me of the Harvest Moon series. I actually was first drawn to this game because of how it looked, and in that regard I had no complaints. Now the sound design is pretty standard, the music sits nicely in the background, but never is anything ear-catching or surprising. Overall, I would say I enjoyed it. Now, I knew this day would come eventually, but I don't recommend this game. With that said, I still think this game brings up a good discussion worth having about design overall. When you are presenting a message to the player, you have to do it with a little bit of respect to the player's intelligence, for a reason I'll explain shortly. You also want to make sure to use an appropriate amount of subtlety and tact in order to make the message hit properly. Do Animal's Dream is a good example of what can happen when you don't respect the intelligence of the player and beat them over the head with the same message over and over, slowly diluting the impact that message is going to have every single time you do it. This is an example of a developer trying to force a message so hard that they completely destroy it in the process by annoying the player, being way too overdramatic, and almost tainting the very point they are trying to make with odd story choices. In a way, it is really a shame, because I think there's an interesting thought experiment presented by the end of the game. However, by the time I got to the end of the game, I was just so sick of being smacked in the face and treated like a moron who can't read between the lines, I actually just ended up killing everything and leaving out of spite. In the end, this does make me think of some things I hadn't before, and I respectfully invite Black Fane Productions, the developer of Do Animal's Dream, to consider my thoughts on the game as well. With the reasons I stated in this video, combined with the $9 Canadian price tag, I regrettably can't recommend this game. With that said, I do appreciate Black Fane Productions for letting me look at Do Animal's Dream. Making a game with a message like this probably requires a lot of thought, and I imagine it could be quite stressful as well. I'm glad they were willing to let me give my thoughts on it, even if the game approaches a touchy subject. Well, that's what I wanted to show, and if you liked the video, it would really be helping me to support more developers if you liked and subscribed for more content from me. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.